And welcome to a very special breakdown of episode 1 of season 3 of Dana White's Contender series. My name is Aaron. As always, I'm here with my co-host Leyton, and this is pretty much similar to our other breakdown, but we're breaking down the Contender series for 2019, and week 1 starts June 18th. So we'll be breaking down all 5 fights for each of those on top of our regular breakdowns for the other cards. As always, and moving forward, as always, my co-host, Leyton. What up, buddy?
What's up, bro? We are here, the Contender series, your favourite show. Every weekend we do the breakdowns, and we've always got a couple guys, and you get excited. They're from the Contender series, the Apple Juice comes out, and I'm buzzing. Every Tuesday night, this is a very decent show. You know, they're fighting for a contract, and it's definitely worth breaking down, every Tuesday night.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get any arguments from me about this. I'm very excited. It's definitely going to be a learning curve here. Just from my first week of doing a little bit of research, we sometimes have trouble on newcomers, like the guy Wineland fought Prepov last week, and people like that. We have trouble finding fights with those guys. Some of these guys are 4-0, 3-0. Even if we are seeing all their fights, which you're not with a lot of these guys. It's hard to kind of tell. So this may be a little bit more guessing, I'll be honest, than usual, but I think also educated guessing. We're going to keep track of these fights separately from the rest of our fights. And I think overall it's just going to add to our ability to break down when some of these guys do get contracts and we get to see them in a couple months making their UFC debut, or already have broken them down and looked into them a little bit more. And we hope to see the results with our bets and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm pumped as always. I'll have a full jug of apple juice each week here. We've got going back
to what you just said about the educating guessing. Last season, man, so many underdogs came in on this show. There's always an underdog, if not like 2 underdogs coming in every week. So it really is educated guessing.
Here, they can very quickly become a not underdog. One of the guys fighting in the main event of this Contender series, he lost to Charles Byrd last year. Another guy, who won twice on here was Ryan Spann. So he had 2 finishes on here. Now he just put away Lil Nog, and is one of the top guys at 205, I think, coming up that no one seems to mention. But guys have lost on here. Guys have won multiple times on here. Guys have been underdogs, and Sadiq Youssef was an underdog on here, 3-1 underdog.
Yeah, big underdog.
Now has gone on to be a favorite in 2 straight UFC fights. Pretty massive favorite in both his UFC fights. So, and a lot of people,
even Pilate, I think he's debuting in the UFC, and he was a big underdog and that's my favorite fight in the Contender series. If anyone remembers that Pilate, I can't remember who he was fighting. Vince Morales, I think, something like that.
Yeah, another guy who made the UFC.
Yeah, just amazing fights every Tuesday night. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead, get into this card, and yeah, you kick it off, Aaron, with Yorgan de Castro.
All right. We're kicking off season 3, episode 1 of Dana White's Contender series with a heavyweight fight between Yorgan de Castro and I believe his name is Alton Meeks. He's listed on my favorite website, SureDog, as Sanford Alton Meeks. Also, my favorite site, SureDog, is missing 2 of his fights and 1 of de Castro's. So it's really slipping over there at SureDog. So anyways, I had to go to a couple different places to get my information. Fortunately, with Yorgan, I was able to see a couple of his fights, so I was able to get a little bit of a gauge on him. Yorgan is 4-0 now, 3 TKOs of those 4 wins. He's about a 225-pound heavyweight, so he's on the lighter side here. And to put it nicely, looks like he has some body weight or body fat he could cut off to make it to 205, or possibly even go the Cannoneer route and go to 185, Cannoneer shooter pace route.
Ripped out your skull.
But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, this guy looks like he definitely, if I had to guess, he's gonna be using his athleticism, speed, pace, and movement as his advantages here. He has good boxing as well. Looked like he had really good hands. He did look at one of his fights. He was fighting a guy who was much taller than him, who looked like he could kind of hit himself, and he was able to take a couple shots and put him away later in the fight. I'm not exactly sure, about his opponent, but from what I could see from his opponent looks like he's got a really good top game and looks like he hits very, very hard. Also, his opponent is going to be cutting down to 265 for this fight. So there's going to be a pretty decent 40 to 50 pound size advantage here for Alton. I think that power is going to be enough to take it. I think Alton takes him down and pounds him out. I'll say it happens in round one. So I'll take Alton Meeks by a round 1 KO to get season 3 of the Contender series started.
Nice. Okay, so Alton Meeks comes into this fight 3-0 as a pro. From what I've seen, he is a very, very decent wrestler. Like you said, there's going to be a big weight advantage for Alton Meeks. I think he's just going to take down Yorgan de Castro and basically pound him out. In his second pro fight, he made a guy tap to strikes on the floor. So his ground and pound is pretty heavy. Obviously, his level of competition isn't great, but like I said, he's 3-0 as a pro. So, at this point, it's going to be, very limited competition. This is a decent fight. He wasn't scheduled to fight on week 1, but he's stepping in for a guy called Jimmy Lawson. Decent fight, decent start to the card. I'll take Alton Meeks to be able to be the stronger wrestler, take down Yorgan, and get a ground and pound finish. And I'll take round 1 with you. We'll agree perfect.
Nice. I'm not seeing any odds currently. I think the odds for this will probably be...
It takes some time. It always does.
It'll probably be, very close to like Monday or Tuesday of fight week. I'm not seeing any fight odds currently. I probably should have looked that up before the fight here, but I'm only seeing them for the fights coming up on the 22nd. So I'm not seeing any odds here. I would assume Alton will be the favorite with the wrestling and size advantage.
If he's not, that's a beautiful dog to bet on.
I mean, Yorgan does fight Loughnane MMA, so they've got a couple other bigger guys like Mike Slow Rodriguez, who I believe was another guy who fought on Dana White's Contender Series, and I believe he also fought at heavyweight on Dana White's Contender Series. I may be wrong there, but he definitely has some bigger guys he can prepare with. But I just think Alton, he looks like kind of a. I'm not saying he is, but the way he fights reminds me of a bigger version of Kane in some ways. So kind of that heavy top pressure, good ground and pound, and I just think he's too big for him. So
he's got good wrestling, man. I've seen some wrestling clips, and he's definitely a decent wrestler. So we're looking for that
wrestler. First fight there, and let's move on to the next fight of the night, which I think is
this is a great fight.
Could be the best fight of the night. Yeah. Go ahead and lead us in.
Okay, so we have Bill Algeo versus, I'm going to say, Brendan Loughnane. Could be wrong there, but he's an Englishman. I should know, but I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so
I say Brendan Loughnane.
It could be that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And that's what it sounded like in the tape I've watched. But go ahead.
Okay. Bill Algeo, 12-3 as a pro. Previously a featherweight champion in Ring of Combat. And from what I've seen, very decent. Very, very decent kickboxer. Reminded me of Corey Sandhagen quite a lot in the way he switches stances. Just his combos as well. Always throwing volume in his combos. Very long and just an all-round decent kickboxer. If I had to pinpoint one negative, it would be his takedown defense. I've seen him taken down quite a few times. So if Brendan looks to do that, maybe it becomes more of a one-sided fight. And same with Brendan, man. The guy is a very decent kickboxer, very experienced himself. Yeah, just a very, very decent fight. And I think this is going to be fight of the night. This should be the main event, really. It's a tough pick. It's a very tough pick because I think both guys have the ability to win. But I'm gonna take Brendan here. I just think he's a little bit more experienced, and I think he knows he could take down Bill if he chooses to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna take Brendan to get a close decision win.
All right. I will be breaking down Brendan Loughnane. The 29-year-old is 16-3, 10 TKOs, 2 submissions. The guy has very, very good leg kicks, throws them a lot too, throws them early, throws them often, throws them inside and outside. He prior to getting his chance, he's taken fights with really legit guys and hung in there. He had a super close split loss to Pat Healy, in which Pat Healy was coming down from a welterweight fight in the fight before. And he was really able to hang in there, grapple with him to the end. And I actually had Brendan winning, but it was a split loss. Since that fight, he's actually finished 2 straight opponents, and he finished his last opponent in round 2 with leg kicks. So pretty much all of his fights, I see a lot of leg kicks, which does lead me to believe that Bill Algeo will need to counter 1 or 2 ways. Either that's by grabbing the leg, going for some takedowns, or with some counter shots. Because Brendan does often throw him kind of naked there and leaving his chin a little bit exposed. So I got to imagine Algeo was able to notice that and make some adjustments coming in. I think this is a really close fight as well. And I actually think Algeo is the one who looks to make this possibly go more places than just on the feet. And I think Algeo will be slightly bigger, although both guys have fought both 145 and 155. And I think this is a really close decision. And I kind of hope both guys get a contract as a result of this fight, because I think they both already deserve to be there.
I'd agree
So
with that.
I'll take Algeo, so we'll disagree there.
Yeah, it's a fair disagreement. I've literally been back and forth. That's one of the fights on this card I've been back and forth on, and both guys deserve to be in the UFC.
Part of this I'm considering is Brendan. This will be his first fight in the States. So he's fought in ACB and a couple other places, some good organizations. He's fought kind of all over the place. But yeah, it's a close one. So I think it would be close to a pick 'em. And yeah, I think both these guys deserve to be there. So it's a little different than what say for our next fight. Moving on here to our only female fight of the night, and it's between Callie Robbins and Hannah Goldy. I will be breaking down Callie Pop-Tart Robbins, the 34-year-old, is 6'2" with 4 submissions. Her 2 losses have come to UFC competition. One was a unanimous decision loss to Pearl Gonzalez, which was in Invicta. And she also got a first-round TKO loss against Hannah Cyphers. And, yeah, we know how we feel about Hannah Cyphers here on the show. She's a Dana White Contender Series winner. She also has won in the Octagon at this point as well, thanks to Poliana Viana. Yeah, Callie, she's got really plodding footwork. Her stand-up mostly involves kind of reaching with her head down and trying to get a clinch. She's got 4 submissions and a variety of chokes to get those submissions, but on the feet, she just doesn't look impressive. She doesn't look super durable either. I'll take Goldy, but neither one of these girls is getting a contract, in my opinion.
Fair play. How are you taking her?
I'll take Goldy by decision.
Nice. Okay. Hannah Goldy comes into this fight 4-0 as a pro. Her foundation is boxing, but she's also become a fairly decent kickboxer. I mean, she kickboxed Gillian Robertson, who's one of my favourite female fighters. Obviously, she's great at jiu-jitsu. She's not exactly a kickboxer, but yeah, Hannah Goldy, Foundations Boxing. And from what I've seen from her opponent in Robbins is just she throws power punches and looks to grapple. So I'd expect Hannah.
There.
Sorry?
Power in air quotes there.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I'd expect Hannah Goldy to be the much better technician. Every single moment this fight isn't in a grappling exchange. So yeah, I basically just see Goldy just piecing up Robbins on the feet. If Robbins looks that bad, maybe Hannah Goldy gets a contract if she beats her up badly, because I see her being a much better boxer. But for the most part, I'd agree that it depends how well Goldy performs. If she goes in there and annihilates her with her boxing, everyone's going to jump on the Goldy train. But if it's like, she takes her time and gets into round 2 and that, she doesn't get a contract. But yeah, that's my most confident pick on the card. I'll take Hannah Goldy to get a TKO in round 2.
Fair enough. And I don't mean to take attention off of this very exciting fight, which is at what, 135?
115.
115? Okay, well, speaking of 115, we got some breaking news here. Jessica Andrade just had her next title fight announced, and to say I'm excited about it would be an understatement.
Who's she fighting?
Weili Zhang on August 31st.
Your girl.
Okay. Gets a shot at the title, and I am so pumped. I can't even think about it right now because I'm just too excited for Zhang.
Yeah.
But to think about that matchup there, I think a lot of people are going to know the name Weili Zhang on August 31st.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm picking her to win, but everybody's going to see that fight and be like, what? Who is this? Who is this? Is this the girl who almost lost to Angela Hill? They're not going to – I don't think the public knows about Zhang. And I'm telling you, if Zhang can follow the game plan that Thug Rose set out there, I think she can win that fight. I will say that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm
excited.
That is very exciting. And but we'll get back to this card, but that notification literally just came in by ESPN. August 31st, fight night, main event between Weili Zhang and Jessica Andrade. So Zhang is main event. I cannot wait to break down that fight.
Okay, but we have this fight. We have Brock Weaver versus Leon Shahbazyan.
This is another fight.
Brother of Edmund.
Yep. And another really, really great fight. Do you want to lead us off, or would you like me?
I'll lead us off. Leon Shahbazyan comes into this fight 7-1 as a pro. I haven't seen too many of his pro fights. I have seen all of his amateur fights, which was like 3 or 4 years ago. But what I will say is he's going to have the height and reach advantage here. Brock Weaver, fairly experienced. I'd expect him to be the better striker. Leon Shahbazyan, man, long, skinny legs. I see Brock Weaver targeting his legs. It's a hard pick, man, because Leon Shahbazyan, physically, I think he's going to have the physical ability to manhandle Brock Weaver. But if Brock Weaver can do some damage in that first round, I think he could walk away with the fight. Tough pick, but I've been a little bit back and forth on this one, but I'm gonna take Brock Weaver to get a TKO in round number 2, and maybe a failure for Shahbazyan in the Contender series. Obviously, his brother done very well. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fair enough, but I'll take Brock Weaver by TKO.
I think Edmund won choice on the Contender series, or am I?
Yes, he did. I believe he did.
And you look at these guys; they don't look related.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at all related. I mean, Edmund is like about 6 foot or so at 185.
6'2", 6'3".
Okay, so they are about the same. For some reason, Leon looked a lot taller to me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did see
has the physical edge.
one thing I did see about Leon, who's only 23 now, is I saw an interview with him from when he was 15, and he was called Leon the Triangle, and he's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions. He's got 6 submissions of his 7 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is where Leon wants this fight, is on the ground. But I think if it gets to the ground, this Brock Weaver guy is a wild man.
Mm-hmm.
One of his most recent fights was a bare knuckle fight against Joe Riggs, and it went the distance. And if you're at all familiar with bare knuckle, when it goes the distance, those are some of the most brutal fights you can see. It's just, but so he's definitely a tough guy. Another fight that was really great to watch was his fight against Crazy Horse Barnett, or Felony Charles Barnett, whatever he's called now. So they both just went at it for 15 minutes. One thing about Brock is that he's 12-4. Sometimes he doesn't care if he's winning or losing. It seems like sometimes he's just interested in being in a fight. Mm-hmm. And Leon, he's going to be the much taller guy here, but he's got those skinny legs. He's got that slight frame, and I think Brock's going to take some shots to get in and give some shots. I think that he gets inside and gets a knockdown, maybe knocks down some ground and pound to finish it. But I agree, round 2 TKO for me with Brock Weaver. Nice. And I think this guy becomes a fan favorite quick. I think that Leon will get another shot at another point, but I don't think this is the fight that he's able. I don't know if did you say you thought Leon was going to physically impose his will on Brock in this fight?
I feel that would be his best way of winning. Just his height and reach and his build. I think he's able to grapple.
Yeah, I think those things are what caused him actually to be the weaker guy in this fight, is his height, his reach, and his build.
Those legs, they're open.
Yeah, and also he's going to be taller. Brock is, I believe not Brock Larson, sorry, that's Brock Weaver. I believe he's close to like 6 foot. So yeah, and he looks like he's standing on his tiptoes 6 foot. He fights out of Alabama. These Southern guys that's grappling that are coming up right now, like Bryce Mitchell's of the world and the Brock Weavers, the Bobby Moffats. It's this new kind of mode of grappler that I'm noticing, or MMA guy coming up, and I think he kind of fits into a similar mold. His fight with Joe Riggs, it was a bare knuckle fight, but I think he fights similar to Joe Riggs. He's just that kind of guy. I think he just is just a hungrier, more aggressive guy in this fight. So I agree with you. I got Brock and second round TKO as well. Nice. But Leon definitely has some legit sub skills. He's been touted as a legit grappler. He was 6'2" or 6'3" when he was 15. So he's had a lot of years to adjust to this frame and learn how to use it effectively, and he's 7-1. So, he does have half the fights of Brock Weaver. I think that could also be a key, is the experience along with the aggressiveness. So I'm really looking to that fight.
Where would you expect the odds to be for this one?
I mean, it's hard to say, but I would assume that they would be with Shahbazyan.
Really?
But yeah, I would.
I'd say maybe like a minus 130 for Brock, plus 120 for Leon. That's what I'm anticipating.
I mean, it could be when you look at. I mean, one of the things that you have to look at is you look at some of the guys who Brock Weaver has beat, and his last couple have been against decent guys. Like Tyler Hill was the guy he fought most recently, but Tyler Hill he was able to put away. Tyler Hill is who faced Dwight Grant on the Contender series, where Dwight Grant had that amazing combination to get it into the UFC. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I'm not a great odds maker, I'll be honest. But
if we get dog odds, we'll take them. And one thing I will say. If Leon gets a TKO, it's the Shahbazyan series.
Yeah, no kidding. I do not think he gets a TKO on Brock Weaver here. I really don't. Weaver has been put away once though by TKO, but that happened quite a while ago. So, but
okay, main event
time.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Oh,
I
you want me to
will.
lead us in, or do you want to? Because we're doing the overall scores. We're keeping
Yeah,
separate overall scores.
these are scores, so I don't need to, build up my main event pick here. I'll lead us in. Why not?
Okay.
With Punahele Storytime Soriano, which Storytime is his nickname. Interesting. He is facing off against a guy making his second appearance in the Contender Series in Jimmy Pickett, right?
Jamie Pickett.
Jamie Pickett. Either way, like not the most intimidating fight name, but whatever. So I will be breaking down Punahele. He is out of Hawaii. He's 5-0, 2 TKOs, or 3 TKOs, 2 submissions, all of which coming in the first round. His longest fight was his last fight, going 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes and 36 seconds to be exact. That was in LFA, so I was able to watch that live, actually. Soriano definitely looks like a legit guy fighting out of Extreme Couture. So anytime a guy who definitely has legit stand-up goes to a wrestling, grappling-focused camp like Extreme Couture, I definitely get happy and excited for the guy. I'm assuming his wrestling has been what he's working on there. He definitely has good power and composure. He can take a shot as well. In that last fight against a fellow Hawaiian, that guy was launching off hooks and landed a double flying knee early in the fight, which Soriano took and just kind of had composure with and was able to get the fight where he wanted it. He has good finishing instincts with his grappling as well, and I think he gets a finish in round 1, and I think it comes by way of submission. So I will take Punahele Storytime Soriano for the submission victory in round 1.
Nice. Okay, so Jamie Pickett comes into this fight 9 wins, 3 losses as a pro. Like you said, he's already fought on the Contender Series. He got subbed by Charles Bird. He'll be fighting a power puncher in Soriano, also a very decent wrestler from what I've seen. Jamie Pickett, also a very decent wrestler and a good power puncher himself. So both guys mirror each other slightly, I'd say. I think the difference is I think Jamie Pickett's more experienced and he's longer. So that could be the difference. It's a hard fight to predict. I've gone back and forth on it a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough fight. Jamie Pickett, already losing on the Contender Series. Does he get subbed again? You think so? Do you know what? We're going to disagree for the main event. I think Jamie Pickett's more experienced, and his reach is going to get it done. I think he gets a TKO in round number 1.
Very good. I do think that Soriano will be the favorite.
I'll take those dog odds.
So, but yeah, well, we got 2 disagreements here.
2 disagreements.
Yeah, so this was
just what I predicted before pod. I said we're going to disagree 2 times.
Yeah, I definitely think that these are all pretty interesting fights aside from the female fight, with all due respect. Hannah Goldy's big goal is she wants to be the second mom to win in the UFC or something, so cool. But the rest of the fights I'm definitely excited about. It's definitely interesting breaking this down. I broke down all 10 fighters. I don't know about you, but
me too.
So I feel like I've got a better idea of what to expect here, and I'm looking forward to these fights. And we will be back in a few days to break down whatever the next
South Carolina.
Yeah, on June 22nd, the UFC fight night between Mike Kano and the Korean Zombie, which I'm already looking at the odds for the main event, and I will just say I'm interested.
Well, I haven't seen them, and that's a very tough main event to break down.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, the underdog is a 200 underdog currently.
Give me the underdog. Korean Zombie?
Yep, Korean Zombie is the underdog at plus 200.
Wow, okay. That's a very tough fight, man.
Yeah, and a lot of fights on this card that I'm looking forward to. Kevin Aguilar, Dan Ige, guaranteed disagreement there. Guaranteed disagreement there. 100%. You're going to disagree with me there.
Yes, we are.
I know you are because you never pick Kevin Aguilar. You have something that's really weird. But
That's the point we're getting to, yeah? We're breaking down so many cards, you know who I never pick.
yep, you never pick Kevin, the Angel of Death Aguilar, and he is going to make you pay again.
I never pick Sadiq Youssef either.
Yeah, well, you should remember the name Bilal Muhammad. But anyways, if you listen to this breakdown, I always appreciate any of the listens, but particularly for this is a complete passion project for us.
Mm-hmm.
All of these are, but especially the Contender series. I threw it out as an idea.
It's a great series, man.
Not thinking there was a chance of you wanting to do it, and it took zero convincing from you. That's why I know we're good podcast partners, is that most people I brought this up to would say, oh, no one cares about this. No one knows who these people are.
Man, it's the best. As soon as you finish a UFC card on the Saturday, like, you wake up, like, for me, I wake up, like, quite late on the Sunday, and then 2 days later, we have 5 more fights. Dana White's there. He wants to give out a contract. Contender series is so legit.
Not to mention, I've been watching the PFL. I think at some point we may have to change the name of the podcast from UFC Addicts so we can cover some of this other MMA.
Maybe.
Because the PFL season so far has been, I've been loving it. So
it's been good.
I think it's great. There's a really good Bellator card coming up on the 14th. Neiman Gracie versus Rory McDonald. Hell of a fight. A ton of other great fights coming up on that card. It's a good time to be an MMA fan. Enjoy the Contender Series fights, everybody. If at points we use some kind of general terms or ways of describing who we thought was going to win, we're just going with what we got, and we're learning as we go. So if you happen to have watched one of these people at a regional circuit, gotten really familiar with them, we love to hear about it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Otherwise, enjoy the Contender Series fights. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and I am out.
Yep. Respect all of you guys. Peace.